30-minute rule is one of the biggest lies the fitness industry ever sold you. Not a misunderstanding. Not an outdated theory that science eventually corrected with a gentle revision. A flat-out, supplement company-funded broscience myth that has had millions of people sprinting to their gym bags mid-cooldown, hands shaking, desperately trying to chug a protein shake before some imaginary biological clock runs out. You've seen it. You've probably done it. That panic when you finish your last set and realize your shake is still in the car. The genuine anxiety that your entire workout is about to go to waste because you didn't hit that window. That feeling is real. The window that caused it isn't. Here's what makes this so wild. Not the anabolic window, the idea that you have a narrow 30 to 60-minute slot after training when your muscles are uniquely primed to absorb protein, and that missing it will cost you gains, didn't even come from muscle research originally. It came from a carbohydrate study. A 1988 paper published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that glycogen replenishment happened 3 times faster when cyclists consumed carbohydrates immediately after exercise versus waiting 2 hours. That finding was real. That finding was about carbs. That finding was about endurance athletes. Somewhere between that lab and your gym locker room, it got completely transformed into a rule about protein shakes and muscle growth, and it has never fully left. The supplement industry saw it coming, though, far. In 2004, a book called Nutrient Timing. The future of sports nutrition took these findings and built an entire framework around this narrow anabolic phase, marketing it as the key to unlocking gains. By the mid-2000s, every tub of whey protein on the market had consumed within 30 minutes post-workout, plastered somewhere on the label. It became gospel. And almost nobody questioned it, because why would you? The logic sounds clean on the surface. You just broke down muscle tissue. Your body needs amino acids to repair it. Feed it fast. Except that's not how any of this actually works. The study most people would point to as proof of the narrow window is a 2001 paper from the Journal of Physiology that found elderly men who took protein immediately after training gained muscle, while the group that waited 2 hours gained nothing. Sounds damning. All right, until you look at the actual details. 13 subjects. Average age of 74. Protein dose of just 10 grams. A total absence of muscle growth in the delayed group that has been described by multiple research teams as biologically anomalous. That's the study that launched 1,000 supplement ads. And for nearly a decade, nobody in mainstream fitness culture bothered to look deeper. Then the science actually caught up. And what it found changed everything. Your body isn't running on a 30-minute timer. The window is real. It's just nowhere near as narrow as you've been told. And the implications of that are going to reframe how you think about every protein-related decision you make in the gym. In 2013, researchers Brad Schoenfeld, Alan Aragon, and James Krieger published what became the most comprehensive meta-analysis on protein timing ever conducted. Analyzing 23 studies and over 500 subjects in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. Their conclusion was direct. Once total daily protein intake is properly controlled, the timing effect on muscle growth essentially disappears. The groups that seemed to benefit from timing weren't building more muscle because they hit some magic window. They were building more muscle because they were eating significantly more total protein per day. When the researchers accounted for that, the window vanished. And here's where the biology gets genuinely fascinating, no cap. Multiple studies measuring actual muscle protein synthesis after resistance training have found that your muscles remain elevated and primed to use protein for far longer than anyone in supplement marketing wants you to know. Research published in the American Journal of Physiology found that muscle protein synthesis was still running at over 100% above baseline a full 24 hours after training. Another study found elevated synthesis persisting all the way to 48 hours. The window isn't 30 minutes. The window is measured in days. What actually determines how primed your muscles are right after training isn't whether you have a shake in your hand. It's whether you ate before you trained. This is the variable nobody talks about, and it changes everything. When you train in a fed state, meaning you had a protein-containing meal 2 to 3 hours before your session, amino acids from that meal are still actively circulating in your bloodstream throughout your workout. Your muscles are already being fed. The post-workout urgency essentially disappears. According to Aragon and Schoenfeld's analysis, if you ate before training, your practical window extends to 4 to 6 hours after your session. You have time to shower. You have time to drive home. You have time to make actual food. The only situation where timing genuinely tightens up is when you train fasted. Multiple studies confirm that in a fasted state, both muscle protein synthesis and muscle protein breakdown are elevated after training, but net muscle protein balance stays negative until you provide amino acids. If you're someone who trains first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, getting protein within an hour or two post-workout is meaningfully more important than it would be if you trained after a meal. The panic is not justified for most people. But for fasted trainers, it's not entirely baseless either. So if timing isn't the main variable, what actually is? The research points clearly in one direction. How you distribute protein across your entire day matters dramatically more than when you have it relative to your workout. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Nutrition took the same total daily protein intake and fed it to participants in two different patterns, either evenly distributed across meals or heavily skewed toward dinner. The group spreading protein evenly across meals showed 25% greater muscle protein synthesis over 24 hours. Same total protein, completely different anabolic response. The distribution was the difference. The optimal pattern looks like this based on current evidence. Roughly 0.4 grams per kilogram of body weight per meal, spread across 4 to 5 meals every 3 to 4 hours. For an 80-kilogram person, that's around 30 to 35 grams per sitting. The reason spacing matters is that the muscle has a built-in refractory period. Research has found that after a protein feeding, synthesis peaks around 90 minutes, then returns to baseline, even while amino acids are still elevated in the blood. Wait 3 to 4 hours and you can re-trigger that spike. Eat again too soon, and you're hitting a ceiling your muscle has already reached. And then there's the sleep window, the actual timing strategy that has the most consistent research backing it. Studies from Maastricht University found that consuming around 40 grams of protein before sleep significantly increased overnight muscle protein synthesis and led to greater gains in lean mass and strength over a 12-week training program compared to placebo. Your muscles spend 8 hours in recovery every night. Whether or not they have amino acids to work with during those 8 hours is entirely within your control, and most people aren't thinking about it at all. The real lesson here isn't that timing doesn't matter, it's that you've been timing the wrong thing. Stop racing the clock after your last set. Start building a day that keeps protein arriving consistently, in adequate doses, and across every waking meal, and feeds your recovery through the night. That's where the actual gains are hiding. The 30-minute window never existed. The 24-hour window always did.